レクイエム。
What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video, and today we're talking about Pokemon Legends. Talking about what's next. Because I mentioned a couple videos about how I would like to see this format become something different. Like, just in general, I think that the format they did this game in was spectacular. I loved it. I like that it was just a different feel from the mainline games. The mainline games started to feel really dry, really boring. A lot of people had their doubts when the game came out. Well, the game was coming out, talking about like trainer battles and gym battles and stuff. I was one of the people that would miss gym battles. I felt like gym battles was a really good staple of Pokemon that didn't need to be changed. But I'm okay with the direction that this actual game took. Now, I talked about in my review basically like how it kind of makes it a more enjoyable game because they cut the roster of Pokemon down just generally, so I can the area just kind of it's difficult to explain, but basically what I'm saying is I'm just glad they cut the roster down because they can actually use that roster for more like different Pokemon games that would be spin-offs of the mainline series. Because in this game, you travel back in time, you from Sinnoh region, and you travel back in time to the Hisui. I believe it's pronounced. Don't kill me. Now, the first thing that's interesting about that is that this is technically an isekai now. But the second thing that's interesting about it is because by being in the like primal times and in the past times and stuff, it actually allows the game to take more freedoms when it comes to like gameplay mechanics and such. I know it's weird, but I was excited for being able to move around by doing Pokemon battles. That's a weird thing to say, but if we're to be honest, I think Game Freak as a whole, Pokemon as a whole, it's a weird franchise, man. It makes so much more money than other franchises around that it's ridiculous the way that some of their game looks. Now, if you watch any of my reviews, I don't really talk about the graphics that much because I was like, okay, I'm waiting on like maybe a day one patch or whatever, so I don't want to speak on it and then it's like, oh well, you know, we had a patch to fix that, to fix some of the issues. There's a lot of graphical issues in this. This is the only thing for me that drags it down a lot because the graphics in this game, they just feel weird. Like the area itself is cool, but it just doesn't feel as good as it could have felt, if that makes any sense. It feels like, and it's not another review, that's not what I'm trying to get into. It just feels like budget. It feels really budget for a Pokemon game, which is crazy because they make so much money off of that franchise that the fact that they can't just put some of that money back into the hands of the people who make the game, like as far as like really make the game with love and passion or whatever, to kind of give us a project that looks a little bit better than this. There are games on the Switch that look better than it, so it's really no excuse for Pokemon to be continuing looking like this. Obviously, the game itself is a good game, and the sequel to it will be really great because hopefully they'll fix some of the issues, the graphical issues, and fix some issues I had with the game as a whole. But that's more sequel talk, which we'll get into actually right now. Now, in the other video, I talked about how it would be interesting to get like an X and Y version of this to go back in different regions. I would love to see like the Hoenn region and like the Johto region way back in the past, like the legendary birds just kind of flying around. Lugia isn't in that cave that he's always in. He's just kind of flying around. Like that would be interesting because the way that this game is set up, it leaves the door open towards any of the different generations of games. Every game is centered around having a legendary Pokemon that did this and did that. Each of them have like backstories of whatever their legendary Pokemon did certain things, and that's why they're legendary Pokemon. Arceus is a little bit weird to start with because considering that he's like the god of all Pokemon, it makes sense. If this is supposed to be a one-off game, it makes sense. And the way that they frame this, it looks like it could have been a one-off game. Like people did not like it or didn't agree with it, they could just wiped it away, and it would just have been a game that came out because, you know, it's centered around Arceus, so it's like, I mean, he's the god of all Pokemon. And I get it though, because the remakes for the Diamond and Pearl came out not too long ago. So, you know, that take place in Sinnoh. You play a game in Sinnoh, then you take that game and then go all the way back in the past and play in the Hisui region. But obviously, if you think about it, Pokemon really shares like one world. There's some more dimensional stuff with X and Y that I really don't want to get into. I don't have the knowledge to really speak on. I just don't think I have like the specifics to talk about the deep Pokemon lore. I know it's pretty deep. Some lore goes pretty deep. I know that in general, I think it's two different dimensions. One dimension where Mega Evolutions is a thing, and one dimension where it's not a thing. And judging from the Diamond and Pearl remakes and from this game, well, I don't really know what came first. You know, I don't know the timeline. I'm guessing Arceus came first because he is the creator of all Pokemon. And each different legendary Pokemon is like said to do certain stuff. Like Lugia might rule over the seas and stuff, but Dialga and Palkia they're like space and time, and Giratina is like shadows and stuff. So they're like, in the whole grand scheme of things, they're like really upper echelon. Like this is just from my knowledge. Somebody can correct me down in the comments below, because I just don't know from just off the top of my dome. But it would seem like Lugia is maybe like the legendary, leader of the seas, and holds the legendary one of the sky. Then you got the 3 birds, and you got the 3 dogs. And you got some of like the later legendaries like X and Y. I think like Y is supposed to be like the legendary deer of the forest and stuff. It's just all different types of Pokemon gods of different things. But Arceus himself is like the main guy. So that makes sense that you would make a game about him, since he created everything. One thing I need to work on, there was only a couple of characters that I really liked in this. The most of the time I actually like the person that follows you around and battles you every 5 seconds. The one that's like your rival. I actually do like, but the girl in this one, I don't even remember her name. She's very forgettable. The professor was okay. If he felt a little bit different from regular professors, because he just follows you around all the time. I would like to see more better characters in the next game. And I know it's hard to write a good character from a game that's very PG-13 and stuff, because a lot of characters need character development, and some of these characters in here have it. Like the merchant guy, I like his character, no spoilers here. I believe her name is Kagita, if I'm not mistaken it. She's the woman that you meet towards the end game that lives in a little house and hut or whatever. She's a pretty interesting character. The Diamond Clan leader is an interesting character. Pearl Clan leader is okay. It's just a but yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more from the sequel. I'm perfectly fine with this game being like this. I already have like 70-80 hours into it. It's valid. It's definitely valid. I'm probably gonna end up reaching a big 100 before it's all said and done. Now, as far as like DLC, I'm curious, because people are saying that DLC has already been confirmed to be coming out. Now, the real question is, what could a DLC be? This is actually something I'm very interested in, because with Sword and Shield, I wasn't really interested in DLC at all. In fact, I didn't even play Isle of the Armor and whichever the other one was, which literally had every single legendary in it from what I've been told. Which I'm a big fan of legendaries. I like catching legendary. I like catching really rare Pokemon. I like catching rare Pokemon, but never really using it, as weird as that may be. I like to use my own personal team Pokemon, but I don't necessarily like to go back and use that specific legendary that I've just caught. DLCs could be interesting, because it really could show how far they're willing to go. They could add more legendary Pokemon to the game. I mean, they already have a vast amount of legendary Pokemon. And if you think about it, all of this stuff is happening in tandem, because it's all part of the same region. Like, this is just specifically like the Sinnoh area of the region. So imagine like the Hoenn area and all these areas that are just different regions of the world. All these different stories could be happening in each one. What if your character keeps traveling from region to region and just literally saving everybody? And it all leads into one big legendary Pokemon that, nobody ever seen before. Who created Arceus or something like the Pokemon could be basically the manifestation of like God himself. He could have been the one that created the God, the humans and Pokemons and stuff. It could be an interesting concept. They could just go to each different region and explore their Pokemon gods there, all leading up to one big force. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe. Let me know some things you want to see in this, and what are some things you felt like this game just kind of lacked. Some things you felt like did it really well, and what you would like to see fixed in another game, and what other game would you want? Like, what's the region specifically? Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.